Yay, we're live and Kyle has an update, so we're excited to see her any moment. Sorry about this, but we are live and we are going to talk about her book and all things fun. And see, it's that easy. View request, go live. Easy peasy. And there she should be. Where is she? There you are. So easy.
We did this. Women united.
Look at us IT savvy ladies. Okay.
Wow.
So, well, thank you for the patience, everyone. I am on the workbench and you're normally behind the desk putting beautiful words together.
Typing away, looking at jewelry. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So I think maybe we start with a funny question, how we actually know each other.
We know each other in the best way. I'm
Yes.
just turning up the volume here. We know each other because we were both getting coffee on a winter morning, and we were in that beautiful cafe called the A Cafe.
Next to Bergdorf.
The A Hotel, but there's like an A business residence.
Yeah, that's where we stayed, and then we had coffee in the
bottom.
bottom.
But the cafe there, I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's near Bergdorf Goodman, but the thing that's nice about it is it's this really clean environment, and it's peaceful and it's tranquil in the middle of crazy Midtown.
Yeah.
And your daughter, I love babies. I'm the mother of 3 kids, and you had a daughter who was adorbs in her stroller, but she was a little bit unhappy and
jet lagged, the poor thing.
She was jet lagged and she was crying. And so I saw this adorable mom, you, with this beautiful baby who obviously needed to chill out. So I started going, and this kid just dug it. She dug it and she calmed down and she was just super happy. And then we had coffee while
and I noticed all your jewelry, and I was like, oh my God. And then it was a started conversation on that. And I was like, oh my God, you're right about jewelry. I make jewelry. And then you're like, my husband is an artist. And the rest is kind of.
My husband's a metalsmith. And so we kind of became friends.
Yes. And I'm actually using that trick now when I always see a crying baby, and it works. And I'm like, and they're like, stop. And then they get distracted. And the mom looks at me like, thank you. So
people, if you're listening, it works. Clicking your tongue fascinates little children, especially ones who can't talk that much, because it sounds like an animal.
Yeah.
Or a bird, you know?
Yeah. And that was Romy, that little baby.
And now we're talking to the founder of Atelier Romy. So I just have to say, this is very cool that you're doing. She inspires me during the International, Women's History Month, and more of us should really be uniting and doing this kind of thing. So I'm flattered and glad to be part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, and I try to probably keep it beyond March, because I think, we celebrate women every day with jewelry and, beautiful
completely
things. So I think it started there, but and we're season 3 now, but hopefully we can keep this going. And
I'll come on again, because I have a lot of favorite Atelier Romy pieces. One of the things that I like so much about what you do in that brand is that, okay, number one, the designs are super contemporary and they're super yet versatile and can be combined with even high jewelry, and really expensive jewelry, because the pieces are classic enough, like in 9-karat gold and in really pretty vermeil pieces, and there's diamonds and savorite garnets, and so it's like everything that you want for jewelry that you can wear every day for years. It transcends the trends.
Thank you.
So I dig that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I really, really like that.
Thank you.
Oh my God, Chiara Pisoni, love. There's some really cool people who are joining.
Yes, and Marlene. Let's wave to them.
And Lindsay Lunny, a stunning pieces
she was
at
the
amazing
helper.
prices.
She helped us just to go live.
Yeah, Lindsay, thank you for hanging in there.
Yes.
Thank you for hanging in there with us.
Yes, I nearly went live with her and Sarah. So,
I know.
but I took days about you and that you inspire me. And I think you called me during this lockdown in the right moments where we had a chat about the world we kind of get taken from us, and going
Right.
out and mingling and being creative with each other. And I have to say, you probably called me in the lowest moment out of the blue. And
Oh,
I was really happy that you did, because I was just like, oh, and for what am I doing this? And, and then you called, and then you did this amazing, obviously beautiful Forbes article. But it was just, I have to say, it was just at the right time. And I think what is so nice about this, she inspires me, is that we're all there and we should be there for each other and kind of push each other and so thank you for that. And
yeah,
I
because,
think,
with the lockdown, I just wanted to say that with the lockdown, it's actually helped a lot of people connect.
yeah, yeah.
So, oh my God, Sylvie Corbelin, goddess of
Oh,
jewelry.
from Paris. I just see Paris.
Sylvie. Mwah.
Oh,
Sylvie's one of the greatest designers. She's also an antiquarian. She's awesome. Oh yeah, she's terrific.
good. So then let me ask you some questions. So we turn this
Please
around
do.
today
Please
for a
do.
change. And this, obviously, on Amazon you can even buy this. I had this the next day, which was brilliant.
Yeah, Bejeweled is on Amazon, like all over the world. Yay.
Yeah. So it's very amazing, and I think your focus is on sustainability, and you get really into asking the questions: where is it coming from? Where is it made? Who is behind it? And I love that about it, because I'm actually making it all myself as well. So,
Right.
But why? Kind of going back, why did you actually think you wanted to start writing, or why are you writing?
Okay. Well, it all goes back to, when you're a kid and you realize that you love anything that has to do, like I loved buttons when I was really little, and I loved like detailed buttons. And then my mother had a really great jewelry box. And she had traveled with my father to Venice in the mid 1950s. And she came back with this really wild collection of Venetian beads that she never did anything with, but she would let me play with them. And they were sort of like mid-century modern, like crazy modern Murano beads in like those 1950s colors, like teal blue, and like, I mean, and they were shaped like furniture, like Danish modern furniture, like they were really cool. Like they went to Murano to different glass blowers and collected beads. So that kind of changed me, and an experience that made me want to write, but also made me realize I was freaking in love with jewelry, was I was taken to the Museum of the Indigenous Americans, which was then, I'm from New York City. It was in the Bronx then, that museum. And I was looking at the beadwork of the Lakota Sioux and the Crow and the Cree, and I mean, the jewelry was like mind blowing. Things made out of seeds, things made out of tiny antlers, things made out of beads that European traders had brought them. Things, I mean, I just thought it was so beautiful.
And I think that's the fascinating thing, that I remember when I was in Ladakh, this little kingdom in the Himalayas, and the most of the jewelry there is turquoise and coral, and you're in the middle of the Himalayas, and you're like, you can't find the stuff here.
But they had the trade routes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
ancient trade routes.
That, jewelry tells a story, right? It captures those stories in the most precious way that you can carry everywhere. Obviously you wear it close to your skin, and and you can collect those. It's culture, it's stories, it's history, it's so much.
Absolutely. And the thing that struck me at a very early age is that by looking at jewelry, I was connecting with people from around the world and what they thought was beautiful. And that is still the essence of everything that I do. But now I'm particularly interested in people like you who are master goldsmiths and who have trained in a traditional, school of techniques and attitudes towards materials. And I'm particularly interested in my book, Bejeweled. I write about certain jewelry designers who have a lot of integrity, because they could be making their jewelry, let's say like in Bangkok or in China, but no, they want to work with designers who come from families like 5-6 generations in Istanbul, who have, they were all trained in the Grand Bazaar, and so they're part of this tradition of, Ottoman Empire jewelry techniques. And the thing is that the mass market jewelry now is wiping out these small ateliers that are family owned, businesses that have been going on. Some of them have been going on for 8 generations. I mean, and the intangible cultural heritage of artisanal jewelry making is something that I want to keep alive so that it can be passed on to other generations.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
And that's why I write about it.
Yeah, and I remember I was in school and did my master's, and we tried to do granulation. And yes, we kind of figured it out, but not like they used to do it. And because it was broken, the chain was broken of passing on this. And one of my friends, she went to this chain maker in Pforzheim, and he was literally like 86 years old. And she was like, I have about 4 years to learn everything from him, because he didn't pass it on anywhere. And then when you break this chain, it's very hard to establish how it's been done before. And I was on this other project in Botswana, with the ostrich.
I love that. You worked with ostrich shell jewelry and the indigenous women there. Yeah.
There. Oh, that black thing, that black and white thing. Whoop. There. Yeah. Yeah, and it was out of an ostrich egg. And again, like, it wasn't like, obviously we wanted to make money to help those women who worked there, but it was as well to keep their craft alive, because if the next generation doesn't learn it, then that's gone, that's lost, and that's culture lost, and that's it's much more than just jewelry is lost. I think it's
it's culture loss, it's identity loss, it's like the applied arts tradition comes to a dead end. I mean, no, I'm sorry. The intangible cultural heritage of the world matters a great, great deal.
Yeah.
Because it's part of who you are, who your community is, and what you can share with the world in terms of, business.
And what you can pass on from that.
Yeah. And so, when you did that project, what happened to that jewelry? Was that jewelry, you designed it and they made it, or what was that all about?
So we went to Africa. It was actually Botswana, and you can find it everywhere at the airports, but they're like 10 pounds. They're not much where they can actually sustain their families. And me and a friend, Anna, actually, she had the contacts there, and she's like, would you come down with me? And we took a photographer, and we ended up bringing new materials like leather and lace, and we put proper clasp that you don't use another shell button which will break. We use a silver one, and then actually Browns sold it in London.
That's right. Which is so great, because then that's good income for those people.
And I have to say, Mrs. B, who used to own Browns, I don't know if she's actually, maybe she still owns it, but she was very in favor of like this craft and and bringing it back. And we didn't earn any money. That was our non-profit thing, and the money came back to this. And obviously they have it as an income, but it was more than that. They had women sitting there with their children, and it gave them a safe environment as well for their whole community, where they felt protected, those women. So it was much more than just going beading, and keeping the craft alive as well. So it was a beautiful project. And Symbol bought actually this big bib, which we kind of had on the campaign shoot. Symbol or Prince or whatever his name was. you know.
Nice.
So yeah, he bought it, and it's very beautiful. So we just added new things and new materials they didn't find or they couldn't craft. So, oh, Kyle, tell us about your mug.
Oh, it's an antique. It's that's from Alexis Berger, who you two would get on like a house on fire. Alexis is a master glass artisan.
Oh, there she is. I think that was her question.
Yeah. She makes the most gorgeous, hyper detailed, beautiful glass beads and glass flowers and glass jewelry, and she's really talented. So the mug is an antique, like Royal Doulton cream jug that my mother, it's like 100 years old, and my mother gave it to me, and I use it as a coffee cup, even though it's like, it's crazy old, but cool. It's really thick and it keeps the coffee warm for a long time.
Oh yeah, because it's noon over there. I'm about to go to bed.
There you go.
And then what was kind of your first job in writing, or when did you actually see, okay, this is an occupation for me, this is what I actually want to do?
Well, the only thing I was ever any really good at was writing and athletics. Not a good, you know, so, and that's something that people don't know about me, is that I used to run half marathons, which is 13-mile races, and I was ping pong and badminton captain. I was really good at racket sports. I like sports a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I know, like you with the basketball.
I know, but it was so funny because I was like so proud of my basketball story. And then Sarah, who's listening, she's like, we won the world champion in football. And I'm like, what? I know.
Oh my God, she was a football star?
She was a football star for Sweden, and they won the World Cup. I'm like, okay,
go, Sarah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm quiet now with my, playing for South Germany.
No, but the weird thing is that I've got to say that girls can really benefit from doing competitive sports, and especially team sports, because I didn't realize it at the time, but I learned a lot about how to be a human playing on a team.
Yeah.
And competing, and what is a good captain. And I learned how to communicate, because when you're on a team and trying to win, I played field hockey, I played lacrosse, I was like very athletic. I love sports.
Yeah, me too. And I have to say, like, I used to play tennis first, and then I was 12.
I was on the tennis team.
Because it's a team sport. Basketball is, you have strategy. I love chess. So I was like, this is my game, You have to read the defense to kind of just, either you have 30 seconds, right? Otherwise you're out. So, so love basketball.
So weirdly, when people say like, well, what's a good way to develop, as a writer, having the discipline to like run long distances alone, that formed me. I was running long distance, I would run sometimes like 80 miles a week practicing. My knees are kind of shot, but who cares?
Yeah.
So ask me more questions. I feel like we're getting off the topic.
No, I think the fun questions we do later. I think it's more about you at the moment in the industry.
Oh, okay.
And I think sustainability, was another big thing, obviously. I find it's always funny when they stand there and like, oh, we use recycled gold. I'm like, as opposed to what? So, for me, that's how I grew up, right? I grew up with, we're having my bench there. We collect the lamel, and then we make it into a new piece when it's all full. So, that's the thing I grew up with. But obviously, the bigger the companies, the more struggling with sustainability. Then there were outside places got involved to kind of try to monitor it. So I think sustainability and how to do it right and not greenwash, I think is a big kind of subject out there. And I think people still get confused about it. So I think I wanted to ask you, what is sustainability for you, or what does it mean?
Okay, well, first of all, the reason why sustainable jewelry matters, Let's talk about it and relate it to sustainable food. Like the jewelry industry is where the organic food industry was like 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. And what that is there are now international certification, scientific, sustainable experts saying, okay, this is the protocol. It's all based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which there's like 17 of them or 20 of them. So it's based on that. It's also based on the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. Their like rules and regulations about like, well, what is an ethical fair trade business and what is environmentally sustainable? And, you know, these are the organizing international institutions who have
put a system in place.
Say again?
They put a system in place where you
right. And scientists from all over the world have said, okay, these are you know, the guidelines that we're all going to follow. Mm-hmm. Because these are based on environmental science. These are based on, you know, ethical, humane, human rights guidelines that we all agree on, you know. And so to me, that's what sustainability is. It's based on these like internationally agreed upon guidelines and definitions that are based on science. Okay. And so, you know, like some of the designers who were tuning in, I'm seeing, oh my God, Hanut Singh. Wow. He's in Delhi. Hi. And also Karma El Khalil. She's from Beirut, but works in New York and Beirut. Like, you know, these are people who source their gemstones carefully. Mm-hmm. They, in other words, they buy from dealers. Like there's this guy in New York, Robert Bentley, who you met. I took you to Robert Bentley. He gave you a gold stone for Romy.
And I have it for Romy. It was a quartz with like gold lines.
It was rutile. It was like rutilated quartz.
Rutile.
But anyway, so the point about people like Robert Bentley of New York, and I think he's on Instagram at Bentley Gemstones.
Okay.
He's a man who has been in the business for like 40 years, and he visits the mines, okay, in Brazil. And they are safe. They are occupational safety to the max. You know, he knows the name children.
Yeah, and you know and it's family driven. I work with someone like that in Munich as well, and they know, you know, 3 generations. They all come the sapphires. They all know where they're coming from, and it's, you know. So I think it's to find out actually where they're coming from. Or Gemfields is another big one, correct, in the industry, who's trying to get more sustainable practices and actually give back to the community and don't leave without a match.
I mean, like also like Debswana, you know, like in Botswana, they have the most transparent, you know, they were rated by Transparency International as the most transparent African country in terms of the business. So they have not only diamond mining that benefits the people there, but diamonds are cut in Botswana.
Yeah.
So they get the maximum amount of money from the resource instead of sending it out to get cut in India, you know, where so many diamonds are cut. So there's that. You know, so the people who I write about in my book, are either really intense about sourcing their stones, and so they have the paperwork to show where the stones originated from. They have the paperwork to show who cut those stones. Or they're people like Stella Flame, who's a designer who has been making everything because she loves the way these guys in Istanbul work. I mean, like they do better work than anybody she's ever found.
You know Sevan as well, right? He's one of my
favorites. Yeah, she's buddies with him.
I know Sevan very well.
Yeah, she's buddies with him. And there's a lot of really cool people in Istanbul who have a very ethical, they've got a very ethical jewelry scene going on there where the people get paid really, really well. They're masters. And you know, part of my job is explaining to consumers why it's worth to buying this because you're supporting a cultural tradition. You're supporting a cultural, treasure, really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
And so that's why you're going to pay more for that stuff than you would for something that's made in Bangkok in a factory, with 1 million people.
Yeah. And do you think there's a lot, or what would you see, can there be changed in the industry still? Because there's one question: do you think the jewelry world can lead the way to sustainability?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Well, one of the encouraging things, though, is that there's now
I lost you on the audio. Is everyone else hearing Kyle? It's not our day. Okay, now I can hear you again. Sorry, now I can hear you again. Sorry, right. I lost you for a second.
Yeah, I keep getting this signal that says you're not using the app. It's weird. Something comes on the screen and says you are not using the app. But
it's not our day today.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, but you were saying what we could change or lead.
Well, yeah, and what's changing is that there's the the voice of Kyle lost. Okay, my voice is back.
Yeah,
Polly. So the point is that there's companies now that can sign up for sustainable gemstone certification, right?
Yeah.
And this is it's like the USDA organic food certification, or like in Europe, there's EcoCert for the skincare products.
Recycled. Yeah.
But EcoCert means that there's no toxic plastic in your moisturizer and things like that. It's been investigated and vetted. So what I wanted to say is that there's big companies now, in the US, there's a company called Helzberg Diamonds. Mm-hmm. They have something like 80 stores. They're owned by Warren Buffett. They're part of the Berkshire Hathaway Corporation. They're a very high performing jewelry store. And they have signed on to the sustainable diamond certification because basically they want to offer young people who are concerned about environmentally, and ethically transparent jewelry. They don't want to buy something that they don't know what the origins are. They want to know, okay, so these stones were mined in a responsible way by a company that paid for the healthcare, for the miners and that kind of thing. So
I think that should go into fashion as well. I know we're not talking about fashion, but I think it's the same in fashion, right?
Well, it's totally,
yeah. You have no idea where these workshops are and if they get forced to do the labor. I mean,
are they using
crazy
children?
Stuff.
Yeah. Are they using children and enslaving them and because
all these working camps you hear about, you're like,
oh yeah. I mean, the tragedy of so much industry, and it's not just fashion and it's not just jewelry, but the tragedy of so much industrial fabrication is that there are labor violations all over.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. And so that's why, jewelry can be a vehicle for really good business and for environmentally responsible businesses.
Yeah.
And so that's why I write about what I write about. That's why I prefer to write about design-driven, independent jewelers who are leading the way in this. But I also like to write about companies, like this California-based company that's basically been creating all of the sustainable and environmental standards for food and forestry, and now they're doing sustainably mined stones. So if you want to get a certification, they have these investigators who come and they help you make your business as sustainable as possible so that you can get this certification. In other words, it is a journey. It's not something like, boom, all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's fun. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
right?
they have to adapt and make
Yeah.
important changes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we try to do our bit. We use recycled materials, but I'm kind of used to this all my life anyway. We have recycled boxes, so the paper is all eco with the eco stamp. And then we try to do pieces like, I wear it, like the elephant coin, which we did for kind of Christmas. I do think we have a few left. And
yeah,
we give all the proceeds go back to Space for Giants, and they try to save basically, yes, the elephants in Africa, but it's more about the ecosystem, and the ecosystem will help everyone if that is working and it's self-sustainable, right? And you don't need us to intervene to help that to keep it alive. So yeah, so I think it's very important as a brand to kind of do your bit. I mean, but from Sabine Römer, I've done so many charity work with Mandela.
Yeah,
and
you're one of the earliest. Yeah, you're one of the earliest, in fact, philanthropic jewelers who's made a difference. I mean, for people who may not know this, but you're too modest to say it, but I mean, you got really important philanthropic jewels from things that were ethically mined in South Africa on the red carpet at the Academy Awards. I mean, people like Morgan Freeman and his producer, Lori. Lori? Yeah. I mean, Nelson Mandela, you were creating jewelry to raise funds for the Nelson Mandela Foundation. So yeah, you're totally my kind of
it was nice
designer.
That you can do something with your work, right? And I have to say, this morning was so funny because I spoke to a photographer on Zoom, and he's like, what is this in your background? And I was like, oh, I have to show you. And he's like, you have an MTV award? I'm like, yes, I can't even sing. But I got it as a thank you because I helped raising a lot of funds for them as well. So it was just funny. He's like, I didn't know you can sing as well. I'm like, no, I can't sing. So that was
and I do a certain amount of philanthropy too. Karma El Khalil, who was one of the designers in my book Bejeweled, when the August 4th 2020 explosion happened in Beirut, I was like, what can I do to help? This is such a tragedy because a lot of ateliers, jewelry,
it's awful, yes,
and artist studios, film studios, graphic artists, architects, photographers, they were all located in that neighborhood. And so I helped, get some jewelry designers to donate so that they did like an online auction of jewelry and fine art and photography. And we raised like $300,000 for the non-profit that works on the ground in Beirut to, they were like setting up tents so that people could have, housing and food for the winter.
Amazing. But it's so nice that you can do and change a little bit with your work. I find it's so nice to do.
Well, it's like, because like, what is the point? I mean, I don't want to sound negative or anything, but I don't know how much longer I'm going to be alive. I mean, can I try and leave the world a better place through what I do instead of just only working on making money? I can use my career to help people.
And I have to say, it goes both ways. I think they kind of, going to Africa and it inspires me as well, or, working with Mandela or, charity. It's so nice to give and teach and help, I mean, I love it. Yeah. So then going back to you, what was actually, I always find it interesting, what was the actually first paid job? Do you remember?
Oh God. You mean as a professional? Because I've had
not even. I find it's the first one is funnier.
Okay, so I've had really crazy, weird jobs.
I'd put papers into like envelopes for my dad and kind of help them like stacking thousands of envelopes and letters together.
I'm trying to think. What did I do?
And then I was a coach for the basketball team. That was, No, you can't remember. Okay, then paid.
No, I can, but it's sort of crazy. Okay, so
that's why I love this question.
I had a friend whose mother was a clinical, she was a microbiologist, and she owned a clinical laboratory.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and this also affected the course of my life. I cleaned blood and plasma products out of test tubes and urine out of urine sample cups. And this was in the
Perfect
1970s. And we did not use universal precautions. And it is a miracle that I did not get AIDS. Okay. So in my early 20s, I went and got an AIDS test like every 2 months for 2 years, because I was told you're in the highest risk group
Because you
for getting AIDS because of what you worked around.
Yeah.
So I was in New York when everyone started like dying of AIDS. I had so many friends who died, and so many people I knew and worked with who died of AIDS. So, you know, when this pandemic thing happened, I have to tell you, it triggered things that I had buried and forgotten from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that's another reason why I'm into also trying to do some good while I'm alive, because it's really easy to die. I mean, no one is guaranteed.
Yeah. And you want to
You
leave some
know?
nice thoughts behind.
Yeah, no one is guaranteed something, a long life. You know, you're just not.
Yeah.
So that really had a huge influence.
Crazy story.
Huh?
Crazy story.
Yeah, it's totally
I'm going to
crazy.
be careful with that question next time.
Yeah. But I mean, but you know, my first like magazine type job. When I was a teenager, I was receptionist at Playboy magazine. And I was so young. I was like 18.
You probably can write a book about that one alone.
Well, I was so naive and young that guys from prison would call and just say, I want to talk to a woman. And I had no idea, like,
hi, I am one.
well, no. And I'd say, like, I'm sitting in an office wearing a suit. You know, you're not going to get like a sex call from me, you know, like, sorry.
That's so funny.
It was really weird.
So, proudest moment?
Oh, proudest moment.
Or do you, in your career?
You mean the proudest moment in my career?
Yeah, besides the kids and the husband and the...
Right. Proudest moment in my career.
And the new glasses and, you know, besides.
Yeah.
I mean,
proudest moment in my career. You know, I don't think it's happened yet.
No?
Because I think I'm going to have a really long career.
Good. That's good. That's the next question. Kind of, what's your dream project?
Will I jinx it if I verbalize it?
Manifest.
Okay.
Without names.
Okay. So what I want to do is I actually, I do have a YouTube channel, and I have interviewed some people on it. I've got some fun interviews up there with some designers who work with really great, traditional, like Afghan miniaturists, and do like really cool beads that are painted like with unbelievable skill, you know. So these are like ethical jewelers who are employing great artisans. So I've done some interviews with people like that. I did an interview with Ralph Simons, who was then the CEO of Chopard North America, which was really fun to do because he has a background in watches, and I'm also really interested in watches. So, but what I want to do is, I want to go around the world into studios, including yours, Sabina Romer, and make films of people at work talking about, you know, sort of following and documenting high jewelry being made.
Amazing.
Because people, even people who are wealthy and who have the means to collect jewelry, don't know enough about what is involved in the sourcing of materials in high jewelry, and then in the techniques that it takes to create the high jewelry, the amount of time that it takes
Yeah.
The skill level that
Yeah.
it takes. And then also there's the material value of those materials. People don't understand, you know, gold has skyrocketed. I mean, tell me, you know this, you're the goldsmith. Gold has gone up how much in the past?
No, but it's crazy. It's like, isn't it nearly double, but it's not there yet. But even when I did my graduation piece, and back then I was like, I don't know if I can do it in gold, but I was like, you know, it's my graduation piece. Let's just do it. And I was kind of happy because by the time now it doubled again, you know. So, but then, you know, when I did the golden corset, and you know, and I'm like, I can't do it. Yeah, and I can't do it in solid gold. It would be ridiculous. But even dipping this thing was like 2,000 pounds. Just dipping it in one layer of gold. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, and it was 50 hours on the workbench. That's something.
Yeah, I mean, and like people have no, it's like people don't really understand jewelry.
Yeah.
They don't.
I always think that just happens. So I just sent this little video Matteo did from the Film Pro company in Italy while it's in lockdown, thank God. And I sent it to a client and she's like, oh my God, it's the first time I really appreciate actually the behind the scenes and how it's actually be done and kind of see. Yeah, I think it's a traceable thing going back to sustainability is you actually can see where everything is made. Yes. And where it comes from. Yeah. And I think, people don't understand it. But I love that.
People love
to speak to my TV producer.
Right. Well, there's a huge interest in jewelry, but yet no one's doing that kind of content. And I want to be doing that, you know, and my life is going to change because I'm in the middle of doing some projects where I'm going to have some, you know, I'm going to have like a different income stream. So, I mean, I'll get there eventually, you know.
Oh, very good. Very interesting.
Yeah.
No, I introduced you to her. She's in California as well. Speak to her.
I can't
wait.
She
does TV programs. Yeah. Offline. Speak about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So that's, I think it's manifesting, not jinxing it. So,
okay. Good.
Is there anything you would have done different?
Anything I would have done different in terms of what?
I don't know, your career path, or did you learn out of this? I mean, we all learn out of the mistakes.
Okay, so here's the other thing. Here's different. Uh-oh, I just lost sound for a second. I would have, when I worked at Playboy, they gave me the option. I could have gone to business school. They would have paid for me to go to business school. Because I worked there first as a receptionist, and then I came back and I worked in they had a publishing division.
Oh, wow.
Because they published books. They had, you know, book editors, and because Hugh Hefner, the owner, was a very literary man, and, you know, he had a book club. And it wasn't dirty books. It was like people were reading novels, you know, by women and men and nonfiction. And he was very much into civil rights. And anyway, so Playboy was a great company, believe it or not. In fact, it still is the best company I ever worked for in my life because there was no abuse. There was incredible ethics. And they would have paid for me to go to business school, and I didn't go. I would have gone.
Why didn't you go? Or did you had other plans, or you?
I was young, and I just thought, well, I don't need to go to business school. What can I learn there? You know, God, you know,
knowledge.
I was like freaking 22-year-old moron. You know, I mean, I didn't know.
And is that the advice you would give to your younger self, that you take opportunities and learn knowledge?
Well, learn about business.
Okay.
Definitely. Learn about business, because I had this education that was like this totally like, you know, liberal arts. And okay, I, you know, majored in French language and literature, and I read a lot of novels, and I read a lot of history, but did it prepare me to really
run your life?
No, it didn't. Because part of your life when you're a single person and you don't come from a, you know, I mean, I didn't come from a family of great means. You know, you have to know how to support yourself, and you have to be businesslike, and especially someone like me who, you know, I don't really like working for other people. You know, I mean, I could never have done the 9 to 5. I did.
I always say I'm unemployable.
Oh my God, I say that too. But you worked in the workshop. You worked for Webster, and you worked for like all of these Bond Street people.
No, I know. But it's funny because I always pushed and asked questions and did this, and you know, they call me the workshop warrior.
I'm not really I mean, I love team sports, but I didn't like being in a corporation, except Playboy. I loved that. They were great. They were cool.
That's amazing. That's something new.
well, you know, Hugh Hefner was my father and Hugh Hefner went to college together, and they double dated, and they were friends. My father was one of the original investors in Playboy.
How funny.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool guy. I mean, and he ran a great company, and his daughter was running the company then when I was there, and his daughter was amazing.
And I think I just had a question from the audience.
Earlier. Cool.
It was about, how do you think what happens to jewelry in the future and how we purchase jewelry?
Oh, well, I will tell you that if you go online and look at the MasterCard results from the holiday season of 2020, online jewelry sale purchases went up 46% in 2020.
Yeah.
And I think direct to consumer is totally happening. And I think that companies that can do videos like on a regular basis, and they just have to be, oh, I lost myself for a second. They just have to be, you know, news oriented. That, you know, that's how you engage and sell jewelry. Is by just tell people, show them what you're doing, inform them, always give them fact-based stuff. Style it, show them, you know, how to wear it. And I mean, that's where I think it's all going, because listen, the magazines like Vogue and Town and Country and on, you know, they really only report on the people who advertise for them. They have to do that because they have to stay in business. I mean, I get it. It's really tough to be a magazine now because magazine readership is down.
Yeah.
And so,
so
your
what
best
they promote is faithful.
Yeah, I mean, and your best bet is, you know, to go direct to consumers and create your own identity and create your own content, which, by the way, is something that Atelier Romy does really well. I loved the picture you had the other day of the woman. She's like wearing a jog bra, but she's like got a padded, you know, like down jacket on. Her midriff is bare, and she's like obviously like sexy and working out. And your caption was "Spring's coming." I thought that was great, you know, because that's like very Atelier Romy. It's like totally.
Yeah. Wait for the next one. My girlfriends, they're just in Tulum, and they did this beautiful pictures by the beach, and I just saw them. Yeah, I just was a bit on stories, and it was amazing. And I'm like, I mean, I can't wait to share it, but it's a bit early because we're still like in the puffer jackets, you know. So I think
exactly.
We need to wait for another month.
You could still get a late snowstorm.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it's the coldest March we ever had. So.
Seriously?
Yeah, really? It's really cold this year. Like last year, it was started the lockdown, and everyone was in heaven because we were just in the gardens and in the parks. It was heaven last year. It's very cold this year, but it's okay.
Oh, gee. Sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So now the fun Atelier Romy questions. They're kind of the quick ones.
Yes.
What's the first thing you do in the morning?
The first thing I do in the morning is breathe and probably push away my cat who's trying to open my eyes with his paws, because my cat really likes to eat in the morning. and basically is doing everything he can to get me out of bed to feed him. That's what I did.
So,
And then of course, and then
what's your
thank God I woke up. I'm alive. Because every morning I'm like, this is so great. I'm alive. I am.
Yeah,
I'm grateful
believe.
for my life.
What's your coffee or tea order?
Coffee or tea order? It depends.
Yeah, so what is it? Like for me, it's oat cappuccino.
Sounds great. I'm really flexible. Sometimes, though, I really feel like I need to have Earl Grey tea, and I have it with almond milk.
Nice.
But most
Emails
of the time, this is a confession. Most of the time, I have instant coffee.
Losing your connection a little bit. Okay.
Me?
Now you're back.
Hello?
Sorry. Yes.
I said
Okay,
most
so
of the
Earl
time I
Grey.
just wake up with instant coffee.
Stay in your Wi-Fi connection spot. Emails or Zoom?
Both.
Both?
Can you hear me?
Okay. I'm kind of a bit over Zoom. I'm kind of over Zoom. I want to see people now. Who inspires you?
Oh, God. Anybody who is entrepreneurial and making a product with their own hands and standing behind it 100%. And whether it's jewelry, whether it's, fashion. And my son, James, who's at Clothing by James, he inspires me. He's 22 years old, and he just sold a jacket to the set designer for Kanye West's shows. Isn't that cool?
So cool.
Yeah,
Very
he's
cool.
doing
22.
well. So my 22-year-old son, who is just burning up, he inspires me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What do you miss most? Like, what do you do the first thing after lockdown?
Oh, gee. That's a really good question, because I would say, I want to go to a gay disco and dance all night. I want to go to like a gay nightclub in a warehouse, one of those crazy parties where they're like raving and that's what I want to do. Just hang out with a bunch of crazy gay guys and like dance for like 10 hours. I want to do that.
I love that one. Favorite happy
place?
place?
It'll be fun.
I'm coming. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Favorite happy place, or where you keep saying, do you have a place like that?
I would say, anytime I'm in a park, anytime I'm
Great in nature.
Yeah, and I like even somebody's backyard is great. I mean, plants are my friends. I like plants. I like trees. When I was a kid, I would hug trees. I love trees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Silver or gold?
Oh God, this is the impossible question, Sabina. I love both.
All of them. Okay.
Yeah.
If
I had to choose gold. Yeah. I would say gold.
And
my favorite is 22 carat. I love 22 karat gold.
Oh.
I love 22 karat.
Most memorable jewelry moment.
Oh, I've got a really funny one. So I'm walking down the street in New York, and it's a couple years ago, and it's a hot summer night, and I'm looking in the window of the Sydney Garber store on Madison Avenue. And this man comes up and starts looking in the window with me. And I turn and I look at him and I say, Taffin, hi, James. It was James.
Oh,
Taffin.
Really? From Givenchy. Yeah, Givenchy.
And I said, I'm Bijou Review, and you follow me, and I follow you. And he was like, oh, how wonderful. And then I was wearing a ring. I had 5 rings on one of my hands that day. And one of the rings was this really cool acrylic ring that had silver gilt inside of it. And it was really luminous. It was like a half dome shape, you know, like a cabochon, like half dome. And he said, that's a great moonstone. And I said, it's not a moonstone, honey. It's silver gilt inside acrylic. And he was like, that is really cool.
See,
so he could appreciate. It's like, I mean, he's a really cool guy, you know.
Yeah, I like his stuff. Very cool.
He is open-minded, and he's not a snob, and he has the highest standards in everything that he makes, and he's not acknowledged enough for being as influential as he is in terms of style, materials, and artisanship. I just think he's the bomb.
Yeah, I think materials are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he has proprietary. He has like proprietary ceramic things that I mean, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. The last selfish question: which is your favorite Ataromi piece and why?
Okay, well, you know what it is. I like those rings that are sort of emerald shaped. The emerald shaped ring. There you go. That's it. And I like it either with the initials and diamonds, or if it's just like got savarite garnets. And you have one, I think it's like silver with ruthenium, isn't it? Don't you have like a dark finish? Is it ruthenium?
Yeah, we have a dark. Yeah, black rhodium and savarites. That's cool.
It. I always forget it. Okay, so rhodium and black rhodium and savarite garnets to me is timeless. It's such a great combo, and especially for men. I mean, if it's great for everybody, and it looks good on everyone's skin.
Yeah, we have the leopard bangle in black as well. Actually, a few guys are wearing it. It's cool in black. I love the black rhodium.
Yeah, it's a really good, and it holds up well, and it looks sort of ancient. I like it.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's it. We've done 10 questions. I'm just going to show this again because it's all about the sustainability world of ethical jewelry and sustainably sourced. So everything is traceable and you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah. And you can also get it from the museum. You can get it from the Museum of Arts and Design. I see Bryna Pomp is on, and Bryna Pomp is behind Loot. She does Loot at the Museum of Arts and Design, which is this amazing annual week-long jewelry fair that supports independent designers.
That's in California.
No, it's in New York City.
Ah, okay.
The Museum of Arts and Design is at Columbus Circle and 57th Street, right near where we met. It's right near Bergdorf's. It's where we met.
I miss New York.
Yeah, well, I grew up there in the 70s, and it's changed so much that it's not the New York that I knew, so it's not so groovy anymore. It's not as groovy as it was, so I don't miss it. I miss London, to tell you the truth.
Oh, well, we can't wait to have you back here.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, and have an excellent weekend.
Thank you for coming. And I'm going to see you very soon, I'm sure.
Okay. It's a deal.
Thank you for coming.
Mwah.
And we do review, obviously, if you want to follow her on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's all going to be linked, and I'm going to put an Amazon link to your book as well in there.
Coolness.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm saying Mrs. London too. Everyone is saying they miss London. Are you reading these messages?
Well, Lindsay is very close. I think it's the other one. But yeah, somebody misses London. Aww. I miss London, and we live here, but it's all locked down and the museums are not open. We all miss London, even the ones who live here. That's right. Oh my God. Well, stay safe. Yeah. Thank you too. Much love to California. Bye. Bye-bye. Okay.